This is African News 24 TV. I'm Mary ADIM, and here are the stories shaping politics, sports and global affairs right now. Please stay with us as we uncover today's top developments. Nigeria's political landscape is bracing for heightened diplomatic tension after the United States Congress introduced a bill proposing sanctions against former Kano State Governor and NNPP leader, Senator Kwankwaso, over alleged religious freedom violations. This has drawn sharp criticisms from both the ruling All Progressives Congress and the opposition New Nigeria People's Party, who have rallied in defense of Kwankwaso. The proposed legislation, titled the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026, was introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives by Chris Smith. It recommends visa bans and asset freezes under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act. Kwankwaso was named alongside the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria and Miyetti Allah Kautal Ho, accused of involvement in severe religious freedom violations. The NNPP rejected the allegations, describing them as baseless and politically motivated. Party spokesperson Ladipo Johnson said there was no basis whatsoever for linking Kwankwaso to religious freedom abuses. The APC also condemned the bill, warning that such sanctions could destabilize Nigeria's fragile democracy and strain bilateral relations with Washington. The state governor, Abiodun, has endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his second term in 2027. Dapo made the endorsement during a strategic stakeholders meeting of the All Progressives Congress at the June 12 Cultural Center, Kuto, in Abeokuta, the state capital. Presided over by Governor Abiodun and the APC state chairman, Chief Yemis Sanusi, the meeting was attended by prominent party leaders, including former Governor Olusegun Oshoba, ex-deputy governors Adegbenga Kaka, Segun Adeshegun, Samot Badru, and Yetunde Ononuga. The gathering brought together 7 and former senators, commissioners, and APC stalwarts across Ogun State. From politics to healthcare, the federal government has disclosed that it screened over 1.5 million Nigerians for vision impairments and distributed 1.4 million pairs of free reading glasses in just 1 year under a presidential initiative. The scheme is aimed at tackling a hidden health crisis and is delivered under the Effective Spectacle Coverage Initiative Nigeria, dubbed Jigibola 2.0. Take a listen.
In terms of the Effective Spectacle Coverage Initiative Nigeria, ESCIN, also known as Jigibola 2.0, forms a part of President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope initiative aimed at tackling a previous under-recognized health challenge across the country. Within 12 months, the federal government has screened at least 1.5 million Nigerians from presbyopia, distributing 1.4 million free reading glasses across 16 states, achieving a 94% utility rate of donated spectacles. Briefing State House correspondent in Abuja, Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Isaac Salako, cautioned citizens against using fake or substandard eyeglasses and urged Nigerians to access eye care services only through government-approved centers.
Jigibola 2.0, that we also call Effective Spectacle Coverage, was launched as a presidential initiative, a targeted intervention to provide free eye screening, medications where necessary, and prescribed eyeglasses.
Also speaking, Dr. Okolo Etiri, Director and National Coordinator of the National Eye, Ear and Sensory Function Program, described Jigibola 2.0 as an initiative that goes beyond statistics to restore dignity, productivity, and inclusion for beneficiaries.
But looking beyond the statistics, Jigibola also tells a story of personal lives transformed, divine impact, economic growth, social progress, inclusion, and overall safety in healthcare delivery. shows and prescribes a brighter future for all by design, to ensure that Nigerians are thriving and living their potentials and unlocking a strong, empowered, and prosperous Nigeria.
The initiative currently covers Bayelsa, Effective Spectacle Coverage Initiative Nigeria, Gombe, Imo, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Lagos, Plateau, Ogun, Kwara, Benue, Sokoto, and Jigawa states.
Thank you very much.
Still in health, Enugu state government has announced that more than 1.5 million children were vaccinated against measles and rubella within just 1 week of its statewide immunization campaign. The Executive Secretary of the Enugu State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Ifewa Ani Ocheku, described the exercise as historic and deliberate, aimed at protecting the future of state children. She emphasized that the campaign was not just a ceremony, but a declaration of commitment to achieving 0 cases of measles and rubella in Enugu State. The integrated measles rubella vaccination drive was flagged off at Michael Okpara Square in Enugu, with health officials targeting children between 9 months and 14 years, the age group most vulnerable to measles and rubella infections. Vaccination teams were deployed across all 17 local government areas, including hard-to-reach rural communities. And in business news, as Nigeria advances efforts to strengthen its fiscal structure and streamline revenue generation, stakeholders are advocating clearer constitutional responsibilities among the 3 tiers of government. This was the focus of the Echo Club public lecture themed Fiscal Federalism and the Tax Law Reforms, where tax experts, policymakers, and members of the private sector came together to examine the implications of the ongoing reforms on governance and economic growth. Zena Boyeni has more details. In other news, Nigeria's stock market continued its bullish trend, with investors gaining about 970 billion naira in the latest trading session. The all-share index rose to 178,184 points, while market capitalization climbed to around 114 trillion naira, reflecting strong buying interest on the Nigerian exchange. Top gainers included Nestle Nigeria PLC, Julius Berger PLC, and Transcorp Hotels PLC, which helped push the market higher during trading. In other news, Asian markets opened mixed today after stronger than expected U.S. job data tempered expectations for early interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. Tokyo's Nikkei 225 and South Korea's Kospi rose in early trading, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng slipped and China's Shanghai Composite moved slightly higher. Investors said the strong U.S. employment figures boosted the dollar and Treasury yields, prompting some profit-taking in risk-sensitive stocks across Asia. As Nigeria advances efforts to strengthen its fiscal structure and streamline revenue generation, stakeholders are advocating clearer constitutional responsibilities among the three tiers of government. This was the focus of the Eco Club public lecture themed Fiscal Federalism and the Tax Law Reforms, where tax experts, policymakers, and members of the private sector came together to examine the implications of the ongoing reforms of governance and economic growth. Zainab Oyeni has more details.
The Eco Club public lecture themed Fiscal Federalism and the Tax Law Reforms brought together tax administrators, legal-backed and private sector stakeholders to examine Nigeria's evolving revenue framework.
There are innovations of NNPP reduction.
Delivering the lead paper, tax law scholar Professor Abiodun emphasized that fiscal federalism requires a clear allocation of responsibilities among the federal, state, and local government based on capacity and efficiency. Professor Sonny noted that the ongoing reform streamlines Nigeria's tax structure, discarding the multiplicity of overlapping taxes and consolidating them into three major categories. He added that government agencies are not above fiscal responsibilities, noting that public institutions are also expected to comply with applicable tax obligations.
For income tax, if you earn anything below 800,000, no tax. For companies, if the turnover is less than 100 million, no tax. For capital gain tax, if the gain is less than 10 million, no tax. And again, if the turnover, I mean what you use to trade, is not up to 150 million, no tax. Then furthermore, even if the gain is more than 10 million, and then the turnover is more than 150 million, if you reinvest by buying shares in the same year, no tax. Then CGT, then stamp duty, if the value of the document is not up to 10 million, there is no tax, stamp duty anymore. Then relating to rent, unless rent that exceed 1 million. If the tax system is saying, let the poor breathe, 70% or more of the people no tax, who are the people opposed to it? There must be those who are powerful, those who feel that it may now be difficult for them to hide.
Representing the chairman of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, Dr. Dele-Bashiru, Tokunbo Akonde stated that the reform prioritizes the welfare of individual taxpayers, particularly low-income earners. The president of the Eco Club, Adedeji Lawal, in his remarks, said the lecture was organized to deepen public understanding of fiscal reforms and promote informed civic engagement on national development issues.
The club has over time been having business luncheon. A lot of either correct information or misinformation. People are apprehensive, thinking that, okay, once it's 2026, everybody, you pay tax, whether you earn income or you don't earn income. So in order to assist our members, both at individual level, both and their businesses and members of the society.
The chairman of the lecture, Tajuddin Afolabi, commended the reform efforts and called for sustained collaboration between government institutions and the private sector to ensure effective implementation.
Anything that affects human life, at one point or the other, will be subjected to some reforms based on whatever inadequacies that one might notice in the present system. And I think that is what is being addressed.
Founded in 1974, the Eco Club, known for fostering intellectual discourse and policy conversations, says it will continue to provide platforms that encourage constructive dialogue on issues critical to national growth. Zainab Oyeni, African News 24.
And in foreign news, Colombia has declared a state of emergency following deadly floods that have swept through several regions of the country. Heavy rains caused rivers to overflow, submerging homes, farmlands and key roadways, leaving thousands displaced. Authorities say several people have lost their lives, while dozens more have been injured. Emergency response teams are working to rescue stranded residents and deliver essential supplies, though damaged infrastructure is slowing relief efforts. Temporary shelters have been set up and humanitarian agencies are providing food, clean water and medical assistance to those affected. President Gustavo Petro described the situation as devastating and assured citizens that the government is mobilizing all available resources to prevent further loss of life. Ghana and Zambia have officially launched a historic visa-free travel agreement, marking a significant step forward for African mobility and regional integration. The agreement allows citizens of both countries to travel, live and work across borders without the need for a visa, easing movement for business, tourism and cultural exchange. Officials from both governments hailed the initiative as a milestone in strengthening bilateral ties and promoting economic cooperation. Citizens have welcomed the announcement, expressing optimism about new opportunities for personal and professional development. Welcome to sports. Barcelona are targeting Victor Osimhen as a long-term replacement for Robert Lewandowski. However, Galatasaray remains cautious amid the growing interest. The Nigerian striker, who scored 37 goals last season and impressed in the Champions League, continues to attract Europe's top clubs despite missing matches due to AFCON. Osimhen is valued at 18 million euros, with Galatasaray under no pressure to sell as he remains under contract until 2029. And Super Eagles midfielder Fisayo Dele-Bashiru started as Lazio has travelled to Bologna's Stadio Renato Dallara. The home side took advantage early, breaking the deadlock in the 30th minute through Santiago Castro's header, while Lazio struggled to create clear chances in the opening half. After the break, Lazio found their rhythm, and Dele-Bashiru played a pivotal role in the equalizer in the 48th minute. He made a clever run down the wing after receiving a pass from Adam Masurik, then delivered a low, precise cross into the box, which Tijani Norsley calmly slotted home to level the score at 1-1. Their next challenge will be Atalanta in a two-legged tie, starting on March 4 in Bergamo, before returning to the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. And in entertainment, Nollywood actress Bolaji Ogunmola is reportedly considering taking a break from social media following criticism over a kissing scene in her new film, The Bloom After. The film, released on February 6, features Ogunmola and co-star Daniel Etemefong in several romantic scenes. Some social media users questioned the on-screen chemistry, sparking debates about whether it reflected a real-life romance. Ogunmola defended herself online, stressing that her relationship with Etemefong is strictly professional and urging audiences to focus on the movie's themes of empowerment and healing. She also hinted at possibly quitting social media or hiring a manager to avoid the relentless scrutiny. South African-born singer Tyla has officially announced her highly anticipated sophomore album, A-Pop. The announcement follows her recent international success, including winning her second Grammy Award. The album is scheduled to be released on 15 March 2026, giving fans a date to look forward to on their calendars. Tyla described A-pop as a reflection of her personal growth and artistic evolution, while the full track list and featured artists have not yet been officially confirmed. The project is expected to build on her signature blend of African pop, amapiano, and global pop influences. And that's all for now. For ongoing coverage and the latest breaking updates, you can visit africannews24.ng and follow us across all social media platforms. I'm ADIM. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.